and investigating.
Where are you envisioning? What location stands out?
Well, I just was given the program descriptives from Jessica. And so I looked through the London one, but I didn't get a chance to read through all of the Israel ones. But now that you're telling me that Miami-Dade is going there in January, I'm thinking, ooh, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's a nice time of year to go, too. Is it always in January that they're having the conference?
I think they're continually moving. I'll double check and confirm for you. I think this particular conference moves locations regularly, but because of this conference and because of Miami-Dade's request, when we started to research and to reach out to the local universities there to find out about their programs, we found out that Israel was one of the kind of top destinations, primary destinations for cybersecurity, but London as well, as I mentioned. That's another one that we we came across. So basically everything we do is customized. So we spend normally around a year or sometimes even more researching, developing contacts, working with local colleges and universities to really build like the most in-depth experience possible for the group. And it's always in a good investment, because whenever you build a really nice program, then other schools that have that same program, they're like, oh wow, that's there's definitely a lot of research and work put into that. We would like to adopt a program similar. So we always get excited whenever there's new areas of study, because it brings more students into the mix that might not have found their study abroad opportunity yet. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's good to go to areas, to areas of study that are not as common as, humanities or things like this, or the majority of programs.
Yeah, it's more in an area that has first world technology and
yeah, for sure,
standard of cybersecurity.
Absolutely. What do you
learn something instead of us teaching them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So more of kind of continual education, observation, as well as like discussions and kind of, I think that's essential. Would you like to do you think that a university, working with a local university who focuses in, so like imagine like if you have Santa Fe College, and then imagine a institution that's of similar size, right? In whatever destination you end up going to, but imagine of similar size or even bigger, but where you can like compare and contrast what is, how your programs work, what problems you face, what the primary focuses are of your focus in comparison to theirs. Do you like the idea of that kind of exchange of information between the institutions?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah. And how long are you envisioning for your particular program?
Oh, it wouldn't be able to start for a couple of years, probably.
No. How long? What kind of length of time are you envisioning? Like being out of the country?
And I see here in the proposal, 11 days would be fine, because we have travel days that aren't included in these also. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go over 2 weeks.
Yeah, I would just add something. I'm trying to get programs to be closer to 14 days if possible in thinking about cost efficiency here. But what that allows students to do is apply for the Gilman Scholarship, and
totally.
And so that's really useful for our students. So if it's possible, thinking about cost, of course, then I'm trying to push for that a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm happy you said that. That's actually, and I'll come back here in a little bit, but that's one of the, on this slide here, choosing where, when, or customizing your program. that's the first bullet point here is, you know, keeping the program length within reach of more students, but at the same time, looking at opportunities like Gilman. So basically, you know, depending on your institution, depending on your school, sometimes you might have a student body that is, you know, that are working, they're working multiple jobs, or they have family commitments, you know, whatnot, and they might not be able to be home. They might not be able to be gone out of the country for an extended period of time, right? But at the same time, if you do have 14 days in the country, like with Gilman, then you can take advantage of that scholarship, you know? So it's kind of understanding your student body and balancing it out so you can find the right fit. And I think 14 days is manageable. And I think many students do have the freedom where they can take advantage of it. You know, so, and that's great.
We have a faculty member that just joined us. So, do you want to introduce yourself? He's Christian, with the study of Protestant education. So,
hi, I'm Kim Feigenbaum, and I teach geography.
Hey,
geography.
Kim, nice to meet you, Kim.
Right, I'm not sure what else, what you want included.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Kim, what's your last name? I didn't hear your last name.
Feigenbaum, F-E-I,
yeah?
F-E-I-G-E-M B-A-U-M.
Yeah, Feigenbaum. Where's that from?
Guess.
Feigenbaum, because I love playing this game with geography. I'm gonna with someone who teaches geography, Feigenbaum. I'm gonna guess.
The Baum is the part you might recognize.
Okay, so F-E-I-G-E-N and then B-E-L-M, is that right?
B-A-U-M.
B-A-U-M.
Like Tannenbaum.
Yeah. My first guess was gonna guess Holland, but then prior to that, I was gonna say somewhere in Scandinavia. Am I off? Or is it German? German. Okay, German. Okay.
Yeah, don't you know the song "O Tannenbaum, O Tannenbaum"? How lovely are your branches? Yeah. So it's Baum is tree.
Yep.
And
Feigenbaum
is fig.
Okay, so you're a fig tree. You're Kim Fig Tree.
Exactly.
I love it. Are you sure that you don't teach vocal as well?
I actually, I do teach ESL, or I did teach ESL, which is why I ended up in the Czech Republic, which is why I'd like to take a study abroad to Prague, or the Czech Republic, or close regions around there.
Can I tell you, I'm so happy to hear you say that, because I'm actually in Bratislava, Slovakia right now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. So
right.
I did my university here in Bratislava, Slovakia, and my wife she's from Slovakia. We just had our first child about 2 weeks ago, so we moved back here to be closer to her family.
Oh my
and we organize a lot of programs in Prague and Central Europe in general. So I would love to hear your ideas, because this is my my favorite part of Europe, and it's very dear to my heart. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing your ideas.
What two rivers is Bratislava on?
Well, so it's on the Danube, of course.
Yes.
And then the second river in Bratislava is not the Beer River. It would be, it's not the Vltava, because that's what Prague's on.
Right.
To be honest, I know. No, Chunovo is where they have the rafting.
Remember, there's Czech, Slovakia, and the other part of the Czech Republic is
Moravia.
Yeah, so it's the Morava.
The Morava, okay.
The Morava, yeah. Check to make sure if I'm right, because
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well.
Right in Bratislava.
I think we're gonna have fun. I love the geography trivia, so that's perfect. So then whatever, yeah, I was only aware of the Danube, and I live on the south side of the Danube right now in Petržalka. So we have the beautiful communist housing and all that.
Oh, yes, I've lived in that stuff.
Awesome. Well, how, Jess, I wanted to ask you, what do you think is the best way to, since we have two in attendance right now, and obviously, we should get going. What do you think is the best way to run this? Should we look at the slides, decide what's relevant? If it's not relevant, throw it out and then just keep going?
I think so. And then maybe just kind of have it more as a conversation, and so just be more interactive.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So
Okay.
yeah, let's do that. Let's pick what's important and what's not regarding the audience and who we have participating, and then let's go from there. Does that sound good, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Renee, you still with us?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. So, faculty, you're the ones that are here right now. You guys are the most important people in this entire picture with this experience, right? So obviously the coordinators, the administrators said are extremely important, but the faculty is the energy behind the program, and you guys are responsible for bringing it to reality and motivating your students. Okay. What I wanted to let you know is that myself and my team, my whole team's based in Italy, as well as guides around the world and on-ground operations around the world. But we've all of our lives have been enriched by study abroad and international education, for that matter. And we love it. We're passionate about it, and we want to work with you to build the best program possible. Okay, and to make it within reach of more students, so more students can have the same experience we had. Okay, that's point. Simple. That's why we do what we do. Timelines. I'm sure you guys have your own timelines at Santa Fe College internally, but I do want to put this into your brain to give you an idea of timelines that are the most effective. If you can just decide on when you want to run your program, a year and a half to a year prior to running your program is going to be successful. Okay. If you stick within that window, deciding when you want to run it, it'll be successful. If you start to promote your program a year in advance to 9 months in advance, your program will be successful. Okay. And normally around 3 months prior to the trip, that's when we say, okay, the trip is made. We have 10, we have 12, we have however many students enrolled. We can finalize airfare. Let's rock and roll. And then 1 month prior to departure, that's when we like to do our pre-trip orientation, where we get the whole group together. We bring in our on-ground team. They present to you in a Zoom chat like this. They answer all the questions that they might have about the itinerary. These are your guides, your group leaders who are going to be with you day by day through the trip, right? So this is a timeline that any institution can adopt this timeline.
Wait 1 second, Christian. You went out your voice.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yep. Good.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. What was the last thing you heard?
I'm not sure.
It wasn't a quiz.
I think it was 12 months to 9 months prior to departure date, begin the program promotion, 3 months prior. And
Orientation.
Yeah,
then
1 month.
the 1 month prior to orientation, and that's what would create a successful timeline for our programs.
Bingo, you got it. So basically all I was saying, and feel free guys, if the signal drops, like dive in right away, okay? All I was saying is that any institution can adopt this timeline. Can you hear me?
Yep, we
Sorry.
got you. Yep.
We got
Okay, great. I'll say any institution can adopt this timeline, and it'll be effective, guaranteed. So we've already discussed this, right? So choosing destinations, where, when, why, right? Where are we going to go? Is it popular? Is it safe? Is it, does it compete with other programs on the campus? Is it relative to what I want to teach? Okay. When are we going to go there? Is there extreme weather conditions during that time? Or is it high season? Are there too many tourists there during that time? Or do I want to go there when there's a special event happening, right? Why do I want to go there? the majority of the time you want to go there because it's essential to the course that you want to teach, right? So basically deciding where, when, why, absolutely essential, right? So we understand our timeline, when we need to get started. Now we know where we want to go, when we want to go, why we want to go there, and then we can move on and we can keep going. Now, for us, customization is essential because we don't like cookie cutter programs. Every professor has a different interest, a different focus. They have a different syllabus. Therefore, it's not a one size fits all with international education. Every program needs to be unique and different to match whatever the course is, right? So I want to encourage you guys to, no matter what, whoever you work with, make sure that they're flexible and they're going to customize around your goals and your objectives. That's absolutely essential. And don't settle for less, because there are people that will work with you and listen and help you achieve your goals. We were talking about this earlier, before you came in, Kim, and we were discussing length of program. So Santa Fe College's goal is to establish programs that are at least 14 days in country. So therefore students can take advantage of the Gilman scholarship. And that's one of the conditions of the Gilman, is that you need to be 14 days in country, right? So that's a good problem to have, right? That you need to be abroad longer. What we were discussing earlier is, at the same time, keeping in mind how long your students can go abroad. 14 days is doable if we get started early, and that's why we're having this conversation now in November, International Education Week, instead of later and having to rush and not allowing enough time for promotion and for students to be able to, notify their employers or their family or whoever that they need 2 weeks to have this amazing experience, right?
Chris, we have one question for you.
Go for it. Yeah, jump in anytime. Thank you. Yes.
You had mentioned that the CyberTech conference is now in Tel Aviv. It changes its location yearly. Do you mean that it changes its location within Israel or within Europe?
Global. It's constantly. Yeah. So that was great question. That was a special request itinerary from the dean at Miami-Dade. They had grant money for it, and they said, "Hey, this event's going on. Can you organize this for us?" And we're going to bring six of our best students as well.
Do you know what grant that they're using?
I'll double check and I'll let you know.
And one other question.
As many as you like. Don't worry.
Okay. You had said that these are customizable, and we can also join different groups together. So is it possible to join another, say, cybersecurity program within another together, or is that something I should ask Jessica?
That's something you should ask Jessica, for sure. From our side, the more the merrier, but that's entirely up to you guys. And but yeah, I mean, that's January. This coming January, I'll tell you now, is definitely too soon to try to run a program.
No,
yeah. Right, but what we can do is we can look at any type of special conferences and presentations in that area that might go very, very nicely with a destination that's attractive to you, and then we can work that into a field experience, right? So that might.
No, I was just considering because Miami-Dade, I'm familiar with them.
Okay.
And I wanted to contact them maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Florida Southwestern, and you didn't mention them at all, but maybe that's because their program's smaller, or maybe it's smaller programs joining together.
Right. What I can do is afterwards, I'll email Jessica the information for the Israel program, and then along with the professors who are running that, and then if you want to reach out to them, then
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, it'd be my pleasure. I'm happy to introduce you guys. So guys, whenever you're deciding on your program, okay, city, state, cross country, multi-country, these are kind of the categories, right? Are we going to go to one primary city and we're going to have that as our base, and then we'll have some excursions, and we're going to become comfortable with that city and learn how to navigate it and really build a bond with it? Is it going to be a cross-country program where we're going to visit multiple cities within that country, and we're going to be, kind of moving every 2 nights, every 3 nights to a different location? Or is it going to be a multi-country program where we're going to be visiting multiple countries in one itinerary? All of these options have their pros and their cons. In my opinion, I think city stays are kind of are the strongest programs, unless you're looking for a complete, well-rounded picture of a region or of an entire country. For example, if you're doing geography, then you're going to want to see all of Iceland and not just stay in Reykjavik, right? So that's an example that we're doing a geography program this summer, and that's the first thing that popped into my mind. So in that destination, so all of these come with different costs as well, right? As well as different times using transportation. So you need to decide how much time do you want to have your feet on the ground? How much time do you want to have windshield time where you're looking out of a bus or, a train or whatever, and decide what matches your goals, The next thing is structuring how you want your days to be spent. Is it going to be focused around field experience? Is it going to be, do you need classroom space? Are you actually going to be giving lectures there to satisfy contact hours or have guest lecture presentations? Or is the field going to become your classroom, and all of the sites that you're visiting, is that going to work its way through the contact hours and work into your syllabus, right? So this is all very important. And then deciding, are we going to have in the evening, are we going to have group discussions, reflections on the day? What did we learn, et cetera, right? So all of these things are important to look at prior to committing to a set itinerary. Kind of get out a piece of paper and a pen or whatever you use and structure your days and see if it's manageable. Because what we have, more often than not, are requests with really, really tall orders. Almost it's too ambitious for what's realistic and what's possible, which is understandable because they want to get as much in as possible during that time and that experience. However, whenever you cram too much in, it's less, right? So go ahead. Did I cut out?
Yeah, but I don't think we missed anything important. So
Okay, sorry. All I was saying is that that leads to the next point. It's less is more with a lot of, in my opinion, with a lot of these itineraries. Instead of
That's me.
do you guys agree with that?
yes, very much so.
I actually personally prefer to travel by cafe.
What? Tell me what does travel by cafe mean?
Oh, no, when I was younger, I used like to do, lots and lots of things, but I preferred to sit in cafes and watch people and everything. So in other words, I need a lot of free time.
Yeah, totally.
Get students often want to go. I think, I'm thinking about Prague, and just areas around there.
Prague's magical, and that's one of those cities that and I think it's such an essential experience for these students to go to a place, become comfortable. And I'm really happy you said that about the cafe experience, because especially in Europe or whatever the cafe experience might be in other parts of the world, but to really be able to go and build a relationship with a place, build a relationship with the barista that you meet each day because you were there for a week, and that's where you went to go get your double espresso, your cappuccino, or whatever you have, to go there. And I think it's a really unique experience that is important for the students and builds a connection. So all I was saying was that when structuring your itinerary, really see if what you're planning time-wise, what you're envisioning, if it's realistic, and if it also allows the students adequate time for, exploration and building that confidence of, independent travel in whatever destination that is, right? But yeah, so the next thing is whenever we're building these experiences, take your time and really look at what you want to incorporate. Is it unique? Is it something that they can experience back in Florida? Or is it something that can really only be experienced there? And think outside of the box and kind of look at what makes this destination special. Okay, because every place in the world, as you guys know, has something special about it. So if we can share what's special about that location or destination that we're going to in the program, we can incorporate it into the program, bring authenticity into the program. That's really going to have a program that stands out. And if students are going to spend thousands of dollars to have this experience, let's give them something, extraordinary, something that they're going to remember for a long time. One way that we like to do that is, and this is something we try to incorporate in all of our programs, if the faculty allows, is we like to coordinate with local colleges and universities to have a inter-exchange or intercambio experience where our students get to interact with local students, and normally, preferably in the same area of focus. So for example, cybersecurity, we'd want to team your students up with local students who are studying cybersecurity so they can have conversation, and as well as some fun cultural activities together. And the same with geography, which is really cool in Europe because, they have entire faculties, entire buildings, university buildings, which are dedicated to geography. So it makes it easy to make those affiliations, especially if we start early. And, so that's an example of experiences that are really unique. One sec, guys. Let me plug in my charger. One sec, excuse me. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I would hate to go black screen on you. And then other things that you can do, just to give you an idea what's going on in this photo here. This is Nagima. She was with us in Peru last summer, and we were hiking in Peru on one of the mini Inca trails, and on one leg of the trail, there was a coffee plantation. It's an organic coffee plantation, and a lot of the students, they love coffee, but they'd never seen a coffee tree, and they didn't know what it looked like. They didn't know what the fruit looked like. They didn't know how the entire process worked, and so they were able to do everything step by step by step by step until they finally were able to drink the coffee that they had had roasted and ground down with a large stone, and the entire process. So these are unique experiences that I would suggest, that I would encourage you to try to build as much as possible into your program, especially site visits. Anything that can only be experienced in that country, incorporate it into your trip, especially during free times and stuff. They're going to love it. Do you guys have questions about that or comments? Anything?
I just think the coffee is so great. My second office is Bagel Bakery. I don't know if you guys extra credit. I see my students there. He has. Have you ever seen those pictures of the coffee process? Growing it and the different colors, and it's in Guatemala. Yeah, that he gets his coffee. He buys direct from the growers, and kids, they drink coffee, but they have no idea where it's from, and they have no clue that it's in the tropics, all that. So
I think it's really important to have that, connection with local people as well, and local students. I think that's so important. And
Definitely.
Actually, if that's ever a possibility, staying with actual families.
Yeah, and I'm happy. Is that Jessica? Is that you talking right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so happy to hear you say about homestays because a lot of institutions, their risk management departments and whatnot don't allow it. But if we've done our research,
but we try to reassure them, and obviously working with you guys makes them feel a little bit better when it comes to homestays. So
Of course. I mean, of course. Yeah. I mean, like I would never put student groups with families that, I don't personally know. I would rather, kind of minimize what we can, our offerings of where we can offer homestays, which we do in Costa Rica, Guatemala, and Peru. But I would minimize those opportunities to ensure that there's been proper screenings and that we know who we're working with, obviously. Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy to hear that you guys are open to homestays, and I think it's the best experience that the students can have. Absolutely. And then service learning, guys. Not every program has to be 100% service learning program. We can incorporate really great service learning activities into any itinerary. Just the first one to pop in my mind, since we were talking about the Czech Republic, what we did last summer with Pensacola State College. They're your neighbors, just to the west, I think. They're what? Sorry.
It's like 6 hours, right?
yeah, hours.
They're at the farm.
Wow. Yeah, they're all the way this way. Yeah. But Florida, I meant, neighbors, right? But what they did in Czech Republic is they worked with there was a restaurant that's run by refugees. So basically they were professional chefs back in their country, and then whenever they came, they were moved, they were asylum seekers in the Czech Republic. They had the opportunity to start a restaurant to continue with their careers, and they would go there for cooking lessons and all these kind of things. And so you're able to support people in need.
Where in the Czech Republic was that?
This was in Prague.
Was it, what was the organization?
I'll double check the exact name for you. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll need to look in the email, but it'll take me like 2 seconds to find it for you. The lady, surprisingly, she was from Georgia. Georgia, the country, not the state. I know you know. But it was really a great experience. She shared all about basically what had happened to her community in Georgia and the entire history and story that I wasn't aware of, that the group wasn't aware of, and it was very eye-opening. And we spent the whole evening with them. It's in Prague 3. It's in District 3. So we just took the tram for about 20 minutes, and then we were there. But I'll send you the link later so you can look into that. But go ahead.
I was there a couple of years ago because I went with my son in 2017, and we were looking for refugee programs so he could have an experience working with refugees, and we had a hard time finding them because the Czech Republic doesn't allow a lot of refugees in.
Yep.
And we ended up finding one that was east-ish. I wonder if it's the same one that he finally ended up working with slightly.
Yeah. Let me send it to you and tell me, and then you tell me if it's the same one. But
it's just interesting that you did find something.
Well, we had to dig a lot because at Pensacola they had this particular program has to be based on service learning. It's for their honor students, and so they receive a scholarship to offset some of their program costs. And it took us, and the program was in Prague and Berlin, and it took us a lot of time to find opportunities for service learning, in these that were of substance in these cities. It took quite some time. But yeah, I'll send you everything. I'll send you as well what we did in Berlin, which was unique. But yeah. So any program, guys, you can incorporate those opportunities if you get creative, and it adds a lot of value. Program budget. This for me is one of the most other than the pre-trip orientation slide, this one for me is very, very important because budget affordability is the most important thing. Okay. It doesn't matter if you're a community college, a state college, a four-year university, liberal arts, rural community college, whatever. Your programs, if you want them to be successful, they need to be within reach of the majority. Okay. Otherwise, if they're not within reach, then you've already limited, who can actually participate. From what I've found over the past 10 years doing this is programs that exceed $3,000 really limit what students can participate in them. We need to try to come in under that amount, right? And so that's essential. And when building your program budget, there's many things that we can do to save on to bring the cost down without sacrificing quality, right? And I think the essential thing is to understand the cost on ground and understand what's essential and what's not essential. And if it's not essential, why don't we leave that as an optional activity for students, and let's build in free time so they can take advantage of these optional activities. But at the same time, we can provide free experiences and activities for the students that don't have the budget that the other students might have that want to take advantage of these alternative opportunities. Does that make sense? Like, basically, let's trim the fat on the itinerary and keep the meat. Let's keep what is absolutely essential to the core of the program.
Another question.
Yeah, go for it.
Do the homestays reduce the cost of the trip more than the twin or more than the double occupancy twin rooms?
Normally homestays, they do. So, okay, basically homestays will normally come in the same price as hotel accommodations, but they include all the meals. So you're getting more for your your dollar or your Czech crown or whatever you're spending. So
they don't have to buy their food.
Right.
Exactly. And those particular programs, and all of those are different, and we have some programs where the professors ask, hey, we want to include all of our meals because we don't want to chance our students getting over there, blowing through their cash because it's their first time going abroad. They go over there, they blow through their cash irresponsibly, and then they can't feed themselves throughout the rest of the trip. We have schools that ask for meal programs throughout the entire program. So they know, like, hey, you are going to survive this, you're going to survive this program, So every program's different. Every program's unique. If professors ask me, Christian, what do you suggest for in regards to meals? I say, okay, for sure. Welcome farewell dinner. Absolutely. Daily breakfast. Absolutely. And then everything else I would leave it up to them, but provide them lots of recommendations, and that's what the local group leaders and guides do. They say, listen, this is where, if you're on a budget, I would recommend eat here. This is where local students eat. This is what you can get for this. If you have a little bit more budget and you want to do something, kind of special, then I would suggest this as this, and to kind of show them where to get the best value, right? But all that can be customized around your goals. Accommodation. This is another way where you can save a lot of money without sacrificing quality. Me personally, I can't stand big chain hotels, or mini hotels for that matter, because I feel that they lack character or interaction with other people, other than the television set in the room, for example. So I much prefer to stay in locally owned and run guest houses, family operations, things like this. If you're open to it, don't let the words because the word, for people that haven't stayed in these places, it might be scary because of stupid films, but hostels, top rated youth hostels are often nicer than many hotels, especially in Europe. The top rated youth hostels are exceptional, and they're perfect for student accommodation. I mean, you can have quad rooms, triples, with private bathroom facilities. They're completely modern. There's communal kitchens, so we can do group meals together. So long story short, what I'm trying to say is that by deciding what types of accommodations you're comfortable with and what you want for your group, we can save a lot of money, right? And we can have more authentic experience. Transportation, both the programs we discussed earlier, cybersecurity and geography in Czech Republic, we need to utilize public transportation. We don't need to have a coach bus taking us around. The streets are too small anyway, and we need to take the metros. We need to take the trams. We need to walk. We need to do what the locals do, and it's going to save us a lot of money. Sorry?
We were just talking amongst ourselves.
That's part of the geography,
Yes, learn how to navigate the city, right?
Right, absolutely.
Can I tell you guys just a quick little story? I don't want to steal too much of your time, but I'll just tell you a quick little story. Mm-hmm. Okay. Regarding geography and part of the experience and all this. So when we first started back in 2009, sometimes I had to go and cover for a group leader who became ill or something like this. And I'd been to this destination, but I wasn't a comfortable group leader guide, right? Luckily, this hasn't happened in years, but there were times when I was with the group and I had to get them from where we were staying to the next guide who was going to take over for them. And so I said, okay, let's have fun with this. And I said, we got everybody in the group a map. And I said, okay, find on the map where we are. And then now get us to our next destination, right? So I called it Navigator. And so the student at that point would be, or the students would be responsible for, this was before GPS on the phone and all that. All you had was a map. Now you have Google Maps that takes you everywhere with walking. This was prior to that. So you had to know how to read a map and you had to know how to navigate and ask local people and so like that. So it was amazing. It was part of the learning experience. And you guys are the first ones that I told that story to. So that's but I love it. That doesn't happen anymore. Or we have solid on ground teams, but and last thing on that, guys, is authentic equals affordable and affordable equals authentic. So normally the more authentic you keep it, the more affordable it's going to be, and vice versa, so like obviously some destinations you go to, it might be a little bit too authentic for the group, right? But the majority of the time, wherever we're going, we can incorporate a lot of authenticity, and we can save a lot of costs and add a lot of value, right? Professor to student ratio, every school is different. Jessica, do you guys have a set? Do you have a set ratio that all programs must maintain?
Well, usually 2 faculty leaders. The number of students, it varies. So, okay. I would say like 5 students to, 2 faculty members at least.
So, right. But like because you guys have to, the students are absorbing the cost of the faculty program, right?
Usually not this time, but usually, yeah.
Okay, so are you guys, is there, just so I can understand, because every institution is different, do you guys have funding to cover the faculty's program?
For the 2020 cycle of programs, yes, but that's not usual. So for 2021 programs, the students will be absorbing the cost.
Okay, so students will be absorbing the cost. So this relates then. So the professor-student ratio, guys, is essential. And what I tend to tell professors and what I suggest is that try to go for a 10-to-1, okay? Try to go for 10 students to 1 professor chaperone. The reason why, and if that's not possible, then go step by step lower. The reason is if we have 6 students absorbing 1 professor chaperone, the price is going to be much higher for the students. Therefore, the program is going to be out of reach of more students, therefore limiting the possibility of getting to 10, right? However, if we keep the program price affordable and we keep it at 10, we can hit that number. We can secure airfare 1 year, 11 months prior to departure. We can sit on an airfare quote. You have to have 10 people flying. So it could be 9 students, 1 professor. But that's what I suggest as a solid, affordable ratio. If that's not possible, depending on the size of the school or, lack of interest, unfortunately, if that's the case, then you can go with smaller ratios. Just it's important that we keep in mind that the smaller the ratio, the more expensive the program becomes, because there's fixed costs. There's, a guide. A guide has a daily salary that we have to pay a group leader guide on ground. If that's divided by 6 people instead of 10 people, price goes higher, right? So,
Christian, though, for 10 students right now, we require, at least 2 faculty members to go. So it would at least be a 10-to-2 ratio.
Okay, so 10-2, okay, 5-1.
Yeah.
All right. So in that case, we have to get started early, and we got to be smart and we have to be smart in building affordable quality programs. But definitely, and you guys have strategic airfare as well. You're not in the middle of the country. We can get affordable deals, so that's good. All of this internal information, finalize the itinerary proposal. This is directly with the study abroad office at Santa Fe College. So, Jessica, I'm sure you guys have policies and instructions and packets and all that.
Yes, all that's my office, so you don't have to worry about that too much.
Awesome. And what we can assist with to take off work from the faculty is providing you any information you need in terms of accommodation, itemized breakdown, flight information, emergency evacuation, risk management, all of these things that are probably most likely checklist items from the study abroad office. We can provide that to you, so that way you don't have to spend hours researching that. Just say, Christian or SAA team, fill this out for me and send it to us, and we'll get you everything that you need. And working directly with you, Jessica, in the study abroad office, like, our job is to make your job as simple as possible, so we can have more programs going. That's the idea, to make everybody's lives easier.
Yep.
Perfect.
I have an appointment at 5, so I'm gonna have to leave pretty soon. So if I walk out,
Yeah, no worries.
Hey, Kim. Okay. Do you have a couple more minutes? I'm almost done.
Yeah. Couple more.
Okay, cool. So program promotion, guys, you can take, a lot of these are for admin, a lot of these are for faculty as well. I will send this to you in addition to our 10 steps guaranteed increased study abroad participation presentation, and take what you liked from it, throw out the rest. Okay. But you can take this information and incorporate it for promoting your programs. Pre-trip orientation. This is very important. If you have just one more second. Basically, we like to get the entire group together prior to the program, sit down in the room, or via webinar like this 1 month before the trip, and go over all the travel essentials. So safety is number 1 priority. Smart travel, packing, pre-trip checklist. Do you have your passport? Have you called your bank? Do you have your traveler's insurance? All that stuff. Okay. We like to host that for you guys. If you do one in-house already, that's perfect. We can work together, or we can just send you a packet with a video as well. But we're happy to do that, and it allows the opportunity for the group leader and guide to come in and introduce themselves as well. But pre-trip orientation meeting 1 month prior to travel is extremely beneficial, and it really prevents a lot of problems from students overpacking, not preparing themselves. We can go over everything and give them the opportunity to ask as many questions as they like. And then on-ground briefing, once they arrive in the country, say, okay, guys, we're here now. Let's go over the essentials, the do's, the don'ts. Here's your emergency contact information. Everybody's using the WhatsApp group chat. We're all connected to each other. And last thing with the on-ground briefings is we really want to try to have a morning briefing and an evening briefing. So the morning after they're caffeinated and, they've had breakfast, we can say, okay, guys, this is the plan for the day. You need this. And then in the evening, we can kind of have a debriefing, discuss how the day went. Are there any problems? Is everyone feeling healthy? Are there any accommodation issues? Any other kind of issues at all? Is anyone not getting along? Blah, blah, blah. And get that daily feedback. So that way we can fix it at that moment instead of letting it, kind of brew throughout the entire trip and then finding out about it after it's too late, right? And then post-trip, essential. Get feedback from the program, get testimonials, photos and videos. These are your students. They're going to love you. They're going to have the most amazing experience ever. I mean, look how happy all these students are here. And we need this feedback. We need these testimonials so that way word of mouth can get more students at Santa Fe College wanting to have these experiences, more faculty wanting to have these experiences. And take a look at your itinerary. Said, I like this. This could have been better. Let's change out this. Let's improve this. And, review, improve, and repeat. And that is it. That is the A to Z study abroad, faculty-led kind of 101, what is essential, guys. And I want to thank you for joining me today. And do you have any questions about anything?
Can you just leave that up there for a minute? I'm trying to write everything down, contact info now.
Yeah, I'm gonna email it to Jessica, and then, but yeah, take your time, write it all down, guys. I'm happy to help with anything. If you want to brainstorm, if whatever, if you want to build itineraries, we're happy to help and to get involved. And I really want to hear a lot more about both of your programs. And can I ask you, when, obviously these are for 2021, do you have ideas, months kind of in your mind?
Well, we have a couple requirements for our faculty members before they go. So I
Okay.
think that's kind of a conversation that we need to have first, and then we
Totally. Yeah. Not a problem. Sorry, I was just curious.
Yeah, no worries.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, yeah, guys. And Jessica, thank you again for putting this together. And I wish you guys the best of luck. And I look forward to connecting with all of you. I will send you the recorded version along with the PDF and the 10 steps presentation. And anything we can assist with in the meantime, let me know. And thank you guys again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Right, thank you.
Your time.
Okay. Have a lovely day, everyone. All right.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.